speaking to you, thought? Okay. It's a bit early for a stream, but I think I need to get a water bottle. But we are going to read chapter 4 since it just released yesterday. And light years away. Whose land is this? Hold on, I need to get a water bottle before I start reading. It's Homestuck time. I got a water bottle. I don't know why my throat is so clogged up. Maybe it's the dairy. Hello. For the pleasure of Orange Man Hussy. Yes. There are no orange people I respect. There's Orange Man Hussy and Orange Man Donald Trump. Okay, chapter 4, the contest. Light years away. Oh, so they crash landed in there. That's where Dirk and all of them are? Yep. It's even got the glasses. What the hell? The smoke is delicious, though. I love that. Looks like they've left already. Yep, they're walking towards a cave. That's Bot Lalonde. What the fuck? Are you finished posing dramatically out there? I think Terezi wants a turn. Oh my god, Terezi! What the hell? What is that outfit? She's more than welcome. I've had my fill. Feels good, doesn't it? Now get over here. We got some business to discuss. Okay, what does Terezi remind me of? I don't know what it is, but it's a look and I like it. Oh, her hair is longer too. What the hell? Do you know what's going on here? Render yourself symbolically this instant. Wow. Terezi, you too. No thanks, I'm good. In fact, now that we're here, I can't imagine anything worse than sitting down with you two for another little chat. You've ruined the very concept of talking for the rest of my life. Oh, come on, it wasn't really all that bad, was it? Dirk may be completely insufferable. Thanks. But we had some pretty good times over the course of this journey, didn't we? So did Dirk rescue Terezi? Probably. I'm struggling to think of any. Oh, how you wound me. 3 years of anime plot analysis is enough to turn any relationship sour. Alright, that's fair. The anime was rather tedious. Wow. But I posit that it could have been much, much worse. At the very least, none of us succumbed to substance abuse. Or re-succumbed, I guess I should say. The perks of not having an appetite or a liver in my case. In yours, I'm actually not sure. Perhaps the underlying cognitive dissonance or trauma you were originally trying to distract yourself from is no longer a going concern. Or... No, wait. That's not right. I'm thinking of a different Terezi. Or maybe I'm thinking of a different me. Maybe the different me is thinking of a different Terezi, and I'm just witnessing the thought happen as a bystander. It's much the same thing at this point. And I suppose I'm also prematurely ruling out the potential of anime functioning as an abusable substance. I mean, it is. In which case, I've got very bad news for all of us. We all need to formulate a 12-step plan. Let me know if you show any signs of withdrawal. 12-step plan, again, with the 12 symbolism. Huh. Rose, oh my god. My point could have been made any more obvious if you sat on it. We may be in complete agreement about Dirk being a tedious nook wipe. We are? Shh. But newsflash, you aren't actually any better. Sleep without soapbar doesn't come easy to my species, and yet I somehow managed to spend a good chunk of our 3-year journey unconscious. That's how fucking tedious the two of you are. And the worst part is that neither of you actually have the decency to do anything legitimately awful. You just sit there and drone on and on, talking about things that don't matter and asking questions that you don't have answers. We're on a new planet, seeing things which have possibly never been experienced before, and all I can think to do is hole up in a cave and regurgitate completely pointless bullshit. It's called philosophizing. Well, it should be illegal as far as I'm concerned. Stop calling her that. Okay, I'm done. Screw you both. I'm going to go and introduce some plants to the troll emotion we call terror. Well, if you change your mind about the philosophy, I won't. Okay. That was odd. Even by Terezi's standards. She's fine. God, Terezi. I want that. I want to cosplay that, even though I've never really done cosplay before. That is a look. The hair, too. What the... Oh, my hair is just about the right length, actually. Doubtless, but wouldn't it be best to wait for her to return before discussing our future plans? Whether she likes it or not, she's part of this goofy expedition. She isn't a part of this, though. A part of this? This. You mean she isn't a god? She isn't a ruler. She isn't suited for it. And we are. Okay. This is a pretty cool visual. Come on, you know that we are. But I think I can present a pretty convincing case if you need be. So you wanted to have a dialectic about it first, just to be sure. I'm game. Where shall our allegory begin? Beg your pardon? Oh, come on. The cave? Oh, that one. Something allegory of the cave. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed in you. 3 years and not once did I witness you replacing any parts of the ship. How are we to jerk ourselves off philosophically if you don't lean into your clumsy illusions? Plato's allegory of the cave. It's a fair question. But since the name you suggested was more than a very juvenile play on words, I can't you say you've got much ground to stand on. What's juvenile about the can't? Oh, of course it's can't. I took one philosophy course, and it did me nothing. At least for recognizing some stuff. Nothing. At least not when you say it. It's not my fault you sound like a gay cowboy. See what I have to deal with? And yes, I'm still here. For the time being, I want to keep things brief, narratively speaking. Look, we can have this argument later. I'll pencil it in. For now, we need to talk about detritus. Deltarune. Huh. Check with Rose. Atmosphere, sure. Water, lots. Location, caves, potentially. Fuck if I know. Huh. Rosebot. It's an interesting design, but I'd like to suggest a preliminary topic of discussion. Shoot. Or rather, a point of constructive criticism. That name. Yes, it absolutely blows. Detritus. In the interest of open-minded discourse, I'd like to counter by saying that I think it's pretty dope. But it's fine, we don't gotta settle for that. Do you have any better suggestions? No, I'm simply making an observation. You could have at least come up with an alternative. Making up shit is hard. I think having a good game for this planet is an important first step in telling its story, which is what we're here to do. So they've literally got fucked off to another planet to roleplay whatever shit they want. I agree. Names are potent symbols after all. I just think we have a different understanding of what a good name entails in this instance. To be clear, I think it's the perfect name for this place. It's just that when it comes to habitable planets, I think there's some unwritten law of reality which dictates that names should be either boring, like Earth, or insufferable, like Alternia or Beforus. Or Deltritus. Alright, I get it. Insufferably boring gets you bonus points. I think that's partly the point of it. It's a name to be lived on. Kind of becomes a kind of furniture, so to speak. Or I suppose you could see it as a place of origin, the absolute 0 point of growth, kind of like a family name. A name some people are always trying to leave behind because it's the only way to be sure that one is moving at all. It's dirt beneath your feet. So I suppose, in a way, every planet is Earth. Not if you live in the ocean, then it's just the sea. Right. We're not going to call this planet Earth as well, though. No, that would be far too cliche. Quadruply so even. Detritus it is. It's amazing how you managed to both shit on my idea and make it seem a lot better justified in hindsight. Well, of course. I'm an author. I play my trade on well-justified bullshit. Anyway, to business, again. Yeah. The point is, we will be building intelligent life on this planet from scratch. That was one of our key mistakes with Earth-C. We should have started our guidance from the very beginning instead of letting it grow organically in our image. I'm not sure I agree, but go on. No, please knock yourself out. We stayed on topic for a few seconds and I'd hate to make it a habit. No, we should stay on topic. This is why this update is 20 pages, because these people are so verbose. This. Our own world was abandoned by its gods, or I suppose its gods never reached it. The trolls beat their game, but were unable to actually claim their reward and take their places in its pantheon. In a sense, our creators abandoned us. And while I can't say that our world developed well, I don't think it would have been better off being guided, especially considering who would have done the steering. Although, I guess you can't prove that kind of negative statement. Anyway, what are you proposing? Ever heard of the watchmaker analogy? Yes. Damn, okay. Humor me anyway. Say you're an alien and you're walking on a beach. An Earth beach, if that wasn't clear. You're an alien who has never come in contact with the human race before. So say you're an alien and you find a pocket watch on the beach. You've never seen anything like it before, so you pick it up and open it and try to figure out how it works. You see all the gears moving smoothly, all the pieces fitting together in a flawless interlocking pattern. Looking at the face, you realize that it keeps perfect time. You, the alien, ask yourself, how could something so perfect, with a flawless form suited to its task, come to being? So the argument goes, someone created it. Time needed to be told, so a craftsman made something to tell it. Exactly. This analogy always struck me as extremely contrived. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, how many fucking pocket watches does one usually stumble across the ground randomly? Fuck it, who stumbled across a pocket watch anywhere? This is the goddamn 1800s. That point in history is where people were famously tripping over errant clockwork every time they were outside. And don't forget, there are aliens in this version of history too. Yeah, I think that I might have made up that part, though. Probably wasn't part of the original. Although, considering the version of Earth's history was familiar with, I guess the aliens ended up being the most believable thing in the whole setup. What does this mean? I suppose, in a way, this argument's own existence fulfills the same philosophical premise as the analogy itself. It's a scenario perfectly suited to its function, which is to convince you of the existence of intelligent design, one that is so unlikely to have risen by chance that the presence of an artificer is the natural conclusion. It's this weird spiral of a concept, really. Its creator's all the way down. Yeah. But I guess my response here would be that this is an argument in favor of intelligent design being a factor in the creation of the universe. It's not an argument that intelligent design should be a factor in the creation of the universe. That's a question of morality. So Rose abandoned morality? Or what? True. But if intelligent design is a reality, and I think our experiences indicate that, yeah, there's a pretty good chance, then I wouldn't be failing to continue it. If an abdication of our responsibility... Am I having a stroke? But if intelligent design is a reality, then wouldn't failing to continue it be an abdication of our responsibility? If we can order this world and we fail to, is that really any better than smashing the watch ourselves? You don't want to be responsible for screwing it up, and I get that, but failing to act isn't any more morally justifiable than acting wrongly. So it's really a moral argument that you're making. It sounds like we detoured into a trolley problem here. Just do it! Or maybe derailed is a more appropriate descriptor. I hope no one is tied to the tracks of this conversation, at least. Rose, you're avoiding the question. You came to this planet, you saw it in your mind's eye, and chose to come here. More or less. Wasn't that because on some level you wanted to have a hand in its future? Maybe. At least I think so. Ugh. Sorry. It's a bit hard to weigh my motivations for coming against the reality of what we're proposing to do here, in the sense that I'm not quite sure how to even go about making that kind of calculation. I want to create something wholly new, something that's ours. But if I can't help but wonder, what right do the two of us specifically have to do that? We won the game, though. We're literally the fucking creators. We have as much of a right as anyone possibly could. I'm not sure I feel good about putting that victory on my resume, especially not since so much luck was involved, while the conclusion was simultaneously determined from the very beginning. A paradox which is typical of the complete mess that is our lives and which possibly makes no sense to anyone but us. I suppose that's the point I'm trying to make. We quite possibly know more about our reality than anyone else would, which you could say makes us plenty qualified, but it's the same knowledge tells me maybe no one could ever be qualified for this kind of creative endeavor. She's avoiding the question again. It's amazing how one can technically have the maximum amount of metaphysical personal awareness possible and still not notice these sorts of things. It's stuff like this that makes me wonder sometimes whether there's anything about myself that I'm missing. Then I throw that wonder in the garbage can and turn the incinerate setting on. That was a little bit of ironic self-deprecation on my part. I know that recently I've had a habit of simply discarding things that are pointlessly difficult or irritating, or if you're so inclined, uncomfortable. See? So verbose. It's something I've learned to cope with. Well, never mind, it's better this way, and I know I'm not gonna air my trauma or whatever in front of y'all. In front of all y'all. A gay cowboy. The point is that knowing about it doesn't mean that I won't do it. Nor would it necessarily make it easier for me to stop if I wanted to. Personal failings, if you can call it this one, don't work that way. I would know. I also know Rose is probably just the same. She sees it happening and can't stop it. Takes a strange pride in knowing herself so well. And at the same time, she feels hurt to be so utterly predictable to herself. But that's a pain you have to lean in when presented with the sum total of all possible self-knowledge. I suppose this actually kind of answers the question about ultimate self-awareness. Damn, did you just identify and then immediately solve a mystery in the space of a few paragraphs? I think you mighta. Good work, us. Even so, I want to do this. I have to want it. How could I not? Not after everything we've gave up to make it happen. Yeah, walking away at this point would be, well, regardless, we won't have the option. The CCS is totaled. I almost want to make a joke about us not getting it insured. Though I'm worried I might indicate that Dave would call early onset responsible adult syndrome. It's easy for him to make fun of us. He's immune. Possibly. He certainly wasn't showing any symptoms his last checkup. But this was well over 3 years ago at this point. Rose looks off into space, seeming to exist for a very great distance for a while. And then, at a perfectly calculated moment, she chuckles quietly, almost mournfully to herself. I'm rambling again. Told you so. It's okay. I'm sure there was some good reasoning buried fuck deep in there somewhere. Future archaeologists will unearth it eventually. It sounds like you've made up your mind, though. Maybe. She hesitates again. Not sure? Oh, come on, Rose. Yes, you are. You know that this is what you want to do. More than that, you know that it's the right thing to do. Might as well get it over with. Fine. Excellent. What? Don't look at me like that. She was already on board with it in all but name, and we both know it. So why waste our time? You've got better things to do. As of right now, so do I. So do Rose and I. I cordially invite you all to fuck off with your judgmental attitude. By which I mean fuck off right back here, because we still got important exposition to deal with. You mentioned playing a game together. I take it that this is involved somehow. Bingo. And I take it that you have a format to play in mind as well. Okay. Yep. So I guess the basic premise is, yeah, we could establish a new civilization on Deltritus, cook up a new freakish alien species, and steer them towards playing the game at a distance using a command terminal. It would certainly be a challenging application of our combined skills, but it doesn't strike me as being any all fun by myself. For clarity's sake, the second game you're referring to is the game that we played 10 years ago? Spurb, or Scrub, I guess. Whatever it'll be called this time around. Yeah, that's the game. Gotta be careful with those capitals. The game between the two of us is going to be different. I propose that we turn this into a contest of sorts. Each of us takes responsibility for creating our own separate species, each with their own design, society, and culture. Then we pit them against one another to see who will ultimately play the game. For the love of God, please let's call it something else. If only for the sanity-fraying memories of memes long past. That's our culture you're talking about. Have some goddamn respect. Actually, it was my culture. I think it's more accurate to say you appropriated it 400 years later. You're right. I'm sorry. Mea culpa. What does that even mean? I regret everything. I'm not talking over the lines? Hi? Huh. What the hell, man? Bullshit aside, that's a contest I'd like to propose. 2 gods, 2 species, 1 copy of the game. We have a lot of time to kill before it's ready to play. Might as well have some fun in the meantime. I'm intrigued. That's good. Intrigued is good. So, okay. Durst, Prospit. But aren't they both Durst streamers? And it's pale blue, like Jane Blue. Well, almost Jane Blue. I have a few questions before we begin. First, and most pressing, how do you propose we go about doing this? What are our raw materials? Unless you plan on giving me a rib, I'm not sure what we're going to work from. Aha, a rib. Like the Adam and Eve thing. Except not. That's fair enough. There doesn't appear to be anything in the way of animal life on this planet for us to use. But that's not important. We've got all the raw material we need already. Oh, so they're gonna... I hope they're doing, like, ectobiology stuff and not, literal incest. That's fair enough. There doesn't... What? We're going to make the new species out of us. I see. Don't worry, it doesn't imply actually breaking ourselves down to usable matter or anything like that. What I mean is, we have 2 humans worth of genetic material to start from, and more importantly, the technology to use that material to synthesize something new. So, ectobiology then. That's part of it, yeah. Let's take this into the lab. The lab. Yeah, it's just another fucking cave, okay? Proceed to lab. Actually, that's a pretty cool setup. This cave has a lab-like ambience, I'll give it that. And I've seen a few labs in my time. Okay. Look at those fancy circles, though. I mean, why not use the actual egg of life and the sacred geometry stuff? So that's the DNA combiner, I guess. Sweet. It's got the long witticism of approval. No honor could be higher. I'm sure I could have come up with something better if I wasn't still internally reeling at the prospect of us becoming our own biblical progenitors. Well, yeah, the old bearded man in the sky wishes he had one of these babies, though. All he had was heterosexuality and a very long con. Although, I guess they're both essentially the same thing. Oh shit. There's something so delicious about the 2 of us being the ones to populate an entire planet from scratch. The irony doesn't get much sweeter. God, this is just the weird... I'm getting weird vibes from this. I don't know. Doesn't that strike you as a little... What? Incestuous, slurry, adjacent... Oh, that shouldn't be an issue. We're going to be keeping our slime to ourselves. How courteous. In any case, after the base material is collected and the alchemical mix is finalized, we rapidly accelerate the development of the synthesized life forms to a point at which they can form a society of the sorts. So in theory, what the mayor and his associates did on Earth-C, but in a larger scope, instead of staying within the framework of a species that already exists. And here, we won't be waiting thousands of years for the development to happen in real time. This plays to our advantage in more ways than one. For one thing, it's pretty clear that we aren't going to get this right on the first try. I've been conceiving of this as a long game of many individual moves, each of us building and advancing in response to the concepts thrown out by another. Think of it as collaborative world building. All those D&D nights on the meteor finally turned to my advantage. Okay, I think I understand the premise well enough. Why don't you start things off? Roll the first die. Alright, sweet. First things first, getting a hold of myself. There's something about 15 different unfunny jokes we could make about that, but let's just fucking chill for once in our goddamn lives. Agreed. I'll make no mention of you sucking yourself in any capacity. You sucking yourself? Oh, yeah. Let's just somewhat past Dirk. And now he's looking for Dirk times what equals Dirk? No. Next step is adding mutations. We can use any old shit for this. Literally any capitalogical object can be added into the mix by inserting capitalogical object in... I'm stroke. Into one of the slots here. And by a combination of ands, ors, and so on, we can apply the science of alchemy to that ectobiology, alchemical biology if you will. In the original process of breeding the Genesis frog, we'd be doing kind of the opposite, screening out distortions in this divine genetic waveform, so to speak. Here, we're kind of adding noise deliberately, kind of like genetic sweet bro and hella Jeff-ification. Inside of the machine is one big artificial genetic infidelity bonanza. Oh god, Dave would approve. What are they gonna mix it with? We aren't getting distracted with fake arms. This is where it's getting interesting, I think. It's looking at stuff. Oh my god, squiddles? The succulents and fruit gushers? What? Are you gonna make, like, Splatoon? Sup? I thought you had to punch the cards to use them in the slots. I recall devising a sequence of analogies for the process in my walkthrough once upon a time. Hardly my best work, but the principles were sound. No, you're right. I was being politely self-effacing, Dirk. You didn't have to agree with me. About the holes in the cards, I mean. I'm not really sure why we don't have to do that anymore. I think the machine punches the cards with the correct pattern once you put them in. Although the implication is that somehow reads what's on the card in order to punch it with the holes, which enable it to read that same information. That sounds like an appropriate degree of profound ridiculousness. I love it. Yeah. I'm a bit surprised you remember anything about this shit, even though we can't technically forget anything anymore. Me too. It's amazing what pieces of inconsequential information your mind can recall at a moment's notice, a whole decade after they were last relevant to anyone. I think I missed this. What? Okay, what are these words here? Do I see a horse? Or it's just, you know, squiggles intensifies. Ahaha. Okay, that should be everything taken care of. This will be my first move, the opening gambit in the grand game of fate for this planet. All that remains is to see the result. Indeed, press the button. Doctor? Rose, we need to forget this guy. We need to forget a fucking scratch doctor. We need to forget this guy. Now that's anime. Ecto-alchemologize. Woo! Behold my creation. Ecto-alchemologizing. Complete. Well, they're not gonna move. Don't combine it with a plant, man. Dirk. Rose. What is that? It's so cute. It's so weird. Like, this is not gonna go far if they're like a stationary species. Game on. Now, don't use succulents this time. Please, Rose. Your outfit's pretty cool, though. I'd give Dirk that credit. Man. 28 minutes. Okay, let's just wanna look at this. It's so cute. It's so weird. What the fuck? I need to turn this into the thing. Okay. This needs to be... the profile picture. This needs to be PNG for the video. Look at this. Do you think they'll make MS Paint Reader this way? I mean, I guess it's a success, but it's amazing. Oh. I think I'm going to stream for Ragnarok later on. Not today, but next week. since these updates seem to only happen every second week. And yeah. Hope you enjoyed.